think there's something about sharing those blood, sweat, and tears on the pitch that I think just brings people almost instantly closer together.
Yeah, even with the teams you're playing against, it's like, during the match we're going at it as hard as we can. We're actively, and it feels like a battle sometimes, but as soon as the match is over, it's compliments coming from the other team. You're giving the other players compliments. You get to spend some time with the guys you just battled for 80 minutes, um, and now, and like there might be a jersey swap or something, and now you have gear and memories and stuff from a guy you played against, not just necessarily your own teammates.
Join me, Jeremy Swick, on Into the Unknown, a podcast that delves into the personal journeys, stories, and experiences of individuals across diverse professions. As a historian by trade, I firmly believe that our personal histories shape our present and offer valuable insights into our paths ahead. With that being said, let's get into it. On this episode of Into the Unknown, I am joined with a very special guest, Thomas Strickland. How are you doing today, Thomas?
Doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm really excited to get to talking today.
Same here.
So, I always like to kick off the show and talk about networking. How do we know each other?
Well, we met a few months ago at the Savannah rugby tournament for St. Patrick's Day. Turns out that I just joined the rugby white rugby club, and you've been with them for a while, so it was nice to meet a new face at a tournament that I've been going to for a while. So it was a great time to meet you and your friends and all the other people from the club. It was a great time.
Yeah, man, it's something cool about rugby, and it was great meeting you as well. It's funny, I haven't played officially with Old White since 2022, but it still feels like family. Amount of times I head to Atlanta, go to join them when tournaments. It's always a good time to be part of those guys.
Oh yeah, man. I hang out with them all the time. I just recently joined them, but I've been hanging out with them for at least a year. So,
So I was going to ask, how did you get involved in rugby?
I started in high school. I had some falling out with my high school football coach, my senior year of high school. So, I did not want to end my senior year not playing a sport. I've been playing sports since I was 5 years old. So, I tried out the rugby team at my high school, and I've loved it ever since.
Now, did you start playing out of high school, or did you just kind of play in high school and then take a break, or how did that work?
Oh, I started playing in high schools, like like about just about the beginning of the senior year. And I played through that year season, and then I went to play for University of Memphis in college, and then I've from there I've just been playing for various teams, and I've bounced around a lot. I've moved around a lot, so uh, I've been I've been consistently playing for 15 years now, 16 years.
Thomas, I love that. It's one of the cool things about rugby. I realized as I had moved a lot in my career as well. You go somewhere new. If I can find a rugby team that's like 40 instant people to hang out with, granted, you don't have to like everyone, but it is a really cool kind of, background to show up and like, hey, I play rugby. And they're like, oh, hey, welcome to the team.
Right. And the thing I love about it too is just that like you said, we can go anywhere. I find a rugby club, or I find, um, wherever they practice, or hit up whatever local team I can find on social media or Google, and then immediately I'm accepted in the fold, even though I've never met them before. So it's pretty cool concepts, really.
So I want to know a little bit more about you, man, that origin story. Who's Thomas?
Uh, I am just a kid from Memphis, born and raised. I I've always played sports since I was about 5 or 6 years old. Football, soccer, track, and and then rugby kind of took over. I started my career off working at the YMCA. I started really young, and I worked. So I've also have extensive background with working with youth and youth programs. I've done pretty much anything you can think of when it comes um, to the to working with kids, just from camp and childcare to sports and aquatics to even like a little bit of teaching. Currently, I'm currently a teacher at a daycare center right now, a preschool teacher. So I get to do. I've been working with kids for about 15 years as well total. So it's been. I base everything around me doing sports, making friends, going on adventures, and then I get to help inspire the next generation.
Thomas, what made you kind of go down that path towards education or towards working with the youth?
Well, I started off volunteering at the YMCA as a counselor in training, just to so I could do something for the year because I didn't have any sports going on at the time, and after working with the kids and I started off with 6 year olds, and they were cool, and I enjoyed working with them. And then the camp director was like, "Hey, you're actually pretty good at this. We once you're old enough, we can put you on payroll if that's something you wanted." And ever since then, I've enjoyed it. I've done it. I've moved up. I found kind of my area of expertise. It's definitely like with it being sports and physical education, and teaching kids how to move their bodies well, and staying healthy and fit and active. So, and then I also love doing it even with adults, and did a little bit of personal training, but it mostly started off just me volunteering, and then I picked up. I got the my counselor or my camp director was just like, "Hey, you should do this. You're pretty good at it," and I've enjoyed it. So never quite left it.
Thomas, Thomas, that's really cool. It's one of those things I love kids and the movement. They're excited to move around and getting them kind of healthy and early is one of those I think really important things that often aren't taught enough. Outside. So getting kids to move around and be active and enjoy doing it, not like it's a chore, not like they dread gym class, but have fun in PE, have fun learning more about the body. I think is really important.
Yes, I agree. It's quite often overlooked because everyone's, really into, science, technology, engineering, math, art, which is also incredibly important, but like, staying healthy to live a long life to be able to do those things is also important. And I try to make sure that that is never overlooked and not forgotten.
Yeah, Thomas, I think it's one of those things that is really important. I have to laugh because about three careers ago, I was in education. I was high school, middle school, social studies. But then I kind of transitioned on to grad school and history and all that. But it was funny because right when I decided to go to grad school, the person who multicultural officer who always got us helped get us jobs on campus and things like that told me, "Hey, I have one job left for you. You can go back mentoring kids at the high school and middle school, but to fill the rest of your hours, you're not going to want it." And no one said yes. It was funny because it was actually at this place called the Eau Claire Nature Academy, and that was my first exposure to working with kids from about 4 months to about 5 years old. And that was a whole new kind of realm for me, but it was so much fun working with those little kids because I had never really had that experience before. I learned how to change diapers and do all that. But fast forward to when I was in Atlanta, I actually volunteered at an elementary school. And that was the first time I'd ever worked with elementary students. And, each grade level, each age level is just so different and it's so much fun in so many different ways, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. The biggest thing about it is just once you learn the different age groups, you kind of find out, okay, I kind of like this group because they're going through this stage of development, and I can really understand and help them with that. So it's very, it's great to have a good range and get to experience all of the different ages. But then you find that one group, you're like, this is it right here.
Besides rugby, what are you up to out in Atlanta? I know it's a fun place to be. I do miss living there. It was so much fun. But what else do you like to do out there?
I think the best part about living in Atlanta is like there's just without having to go too far, you can go experience so many different things. Yeah, where I live, there's a river, the Chattahoochee River. We get to shoot the hooch, where we get to float down the river. There's Kennesaw Mountain. We can go hiking on mountains. There's lakes that we can go hang out. There's always an adventure, and then we're not too far from places with beaches. Or we're all close to other major cities, so like Birmingham's not too far. Tennessee, Carolinas, and Florida, like they're all within a reasonable road trip away. So it's like even if you're not doing anything in Atlanta, I'm always trying to go somewhere. Usually spend my time playing rugby or going on adventures with the friends I've made since I've moved here.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's fun because a lot of times I can parlay that into rugby trips. All the guys go to Nashville or for example, Savannah wasn't too far of a drive for you guys, and it's always fun when you can make rugby and wherever you're going happen too. I always enjoyed that.
Right.
So everyone makes a decision not really knowing the outcome. Can you give me a time where you just went for it?
Yeah, it was the decision to move to Atlanta. I was actually having a pretty uh I was having a making some good progress as a rugby player in Memphis, playing for the Memphis Blues, and um, I started to play with some teams that did some traveling and played in higher level leagues and competitions and tournaments. And I had an opportunity to move to Atlanta to play for Rugby ATL, but it wasn't like set in stone. And I decided to just save my money and make the big move to Atlanta. And ever since I've moved here, it's had its challenges, but I'm glad I did it.
It really is, man. It's so cool to get out of I think your comfort zone sometime, what you're used to, what you know. And I always tell people the coolest thing is you can always move back. Let's say it didn't work out and you had a terrible time, but it's still one of those experiences you'll remember forever, if that makes sense.
It sure does. I've been in Georgia for 5 years now. Don't have any plans on going back, and like you said, unless it's like something goes terrible, and then I can always fall back to Memphis. But right now, I'm glad I made the move, and I don't see myself moving anytime soon.
I love to hear that. I'm sure the old white guys love to hear that as well. It's just so fun because once you move, you make that community. And should you move elsewhere, whether it's Memphis or somewhere else, it's cool because you can always come back. You can visit those guys, and it just creates such a cool network that I've loved my time of course, in Atlanta, but in Wisconsin, Ohio, Minnesota, all over, kind of all over the country at this point. It's so cool to show up and know a guy or two on the team, and it's just such a great experience.
I agree. I agree. Especially getting to travel to even places that you didn't live just to for a rugby tournament, or you get to meet people that you've never met before, but you're all wearing the same jersey. You all got the same goal to accomplish. And now, wherever you go, you're like, oh, I know this person from Denver. I can go to Denver and I can hang out with this guy I played with at this one tournament, and they'll introduce me to their team, and I have like a place to go. It's
It
actually
is.
really cool networking.
It really is, and I think there's something just even a little special, more special about it. I get it going to like networking events and meeting people through that way, but I think there's something about sharing those blood, sweat, and tears on the pitch that I think just brings people almost instantly closer together.
Yeah, even with the teams you're playing against, it's like, during the match we're going at it as hard as we can. We're actively, and it feels like a battle sometimes, but as soon as the match is over, it's compliments coming from the other team. You're giving the other players compliments. You get to spend some time with the guys you just battled for 80 minutes, um, and now, and like there might be a jersey swap or something, and now you have gear and memories and stuff from a guy you played against, not just necessarily your own teammates.
It really is such a cool atmosphere. And I had to laugh because when I played in high school, of course, our coaches had us do a version of that. We had to go share our snacks with the other team. And we didn't get it at all. We fully didn't understand, okay, I don't want to talk to these guys. But then I remember going to play in college and, oh, it instantly made more sense. I remember texting my high school coach, oh, I get it now. We just didn't fully
Mhm.
understand it that at that point. But it is such a cool experience. And I love bringing friends that haven't seen a lot of rugby then see us after the game. Oh yeah, we're sharing beers, we're having a good time, we're laughing. It's such an awesome experience.
I agree. And like coming from a background of just football and a little bit of track, those are kind of like, this just, I don't want to deal with anybody. It's just my own teammates or myself because, track's individual. But so now that I'm like, I had the same experience. Like once I started playing in college, I'm like, oh, this is very. I understand why this is cool. Like when a guy comes up to you, is like, hey man, you're actually really good. Keep at it. Or hey man, I really like the play you made on us, and that was a cool score. Or that was a cool try. And I'm taken back because I'm like, I'm not used to that from playing other sports. It doesn't occur in other sports.
It really doesn't. And I, like I said, like you said, the first time someone comes up to you, like, oh hey, that was a great move, or hey, you won that scrum, or hey, and it's like in my brain, I'm like, all right, let me think of a compliment because he did something good too. And so it's almost like a compliment battle because you're, oh man, well you got me on that one score, things like that. It's so cool.
Yeah, definitely a unique experience for sure.
So, title of the podcast, Into the Unknown. What are you working on now? What do you have going on in your world?
I am currently trying to as step away from being in a classroom setting with kids and get back to like a sports or training, like get back to doing mostly physical education and being outside or being in a setting where people are active, and it doesn't have to necessarily be kids. I want to get into probably back into some personal training or coaching, any type of thing where I'm back to being active all the time.
That makes a lot of sense. For you, what's the most rewarding part about coaching?
Seeing how do I say this? When you have a player that's you see them actively putting in work to improve or to practice to get better at something, and then they execute it, and they have their own sense of pride, and they're excited, and you feel it through, but you also get to witness and you were a part of it, but it's their moment, not yours as a coach. So you just enjoy them having their moment. That's my favorite thing about coaching.
That really is cool, man. It's one of those things I've always appreciated my coaches throughout the years, especially with rugby. I've been fortunate, especially in Atlanta. I had some really high level coaches, Phil Teal, and then of course Francesco as well, and then Telly, and all those guys. It was so nice to have that kind of wide array of expertise, and having those guys care about you, but also like want to see you succeed as well, which of course helps the whole team succeed. But it was one of those amazing experiences when I was in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I agree, and it's different. Like I enjoy it. I'm grateful actually to have had a great coaches from high school. I still see my high school coach. Sometimes I go to visit Memphis, and I'm glad for every coach I've had. I'm grateful and blessed to have good coaches my entire rugby career, and even then when I started coaching, I kind of modeled how I did coaching based on how they coached me, and it's kind of like it creates like a cycle of positivity that I can't really describe it, but it's just like a cycle of positivity that just keeps feeding back into itself, you know.
It really is, man. It's so cool to see you do that. So I want to ask you one last question. If you could get advice to that high school version of yourself, that guy who just joined rugby, what piece of advice would you give to him?
Oh, that's a good one. I would tell him to just stick with rugby. Try sevens. I didn't do sevens for a while, even though I I was practically built for sevens. I didn't start playing sevens until like maybe halfway through my college career, and I'm like, hey, do sevens. Do I would tell him to just do stick to rugby, go for it. As don't worry about other things. There's too many things that you're concerning yourself with that don't matter. Focus on rugby and your job with the YMCA. Those things will get you to where you're gonna be.
I love that, man. So if people want to learn more about you, where can they find you online? Where can they find you on social media?
I am on Instagram and Facebook for the most part. Um, on my Instagram, I believe my handle is Dentrail, which is my middle name, Dentrail116. And my Facebook is Thomas Dentrail Strickland III, the whole government out there. So that's where I can be found for the most part.
I love that, man. Well, again, I want to say thank you for taking the time to talk with me. It was great to meet you, only a few months ago, but it feels like, we're family already. It's always cool sharing a jersey with, another great person.
I can't help but agree. I think it was awesome meeting you, and it was a great time getting to share some blood, sweat, and tears on the field.
Can't wait, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
That was another fun episode of Into the Unknown. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen. And if it provides you any value or entertainment, I would love if you shared it with others, liked, subscribed, and really just help the podcast grow. Again, tell a friend, tell a foe, just anyone who might enjoy hearing some stories of people's own journeys and what got them to where they are today. Till next time.